Vasiliy Lomachenko returned to action this month, scoring a unanimous decision win against Ghana's Richard Commey. Loma claimed the vacant WBO Intercontinental Lightweight title at Madison Square Garden in his second win since tasting a rare defeat against Teofimo Lopez in October 2020. The fight was pretty one-sided and backed up the Ukrainian's claim as pound-for-pound king. Today, we're discussing Lomachenko targeting George Kambosos Jr. and some more world titles, so don't go anywhere. First up, let's discuss the win against Commey. The former Undisputed champ reiterated his desire to reclaim his belt a couple of weeks ago at the Garden with the one-sided destruction of Ghanaian Commey. There were multiple times throughout the fight where the Ukrainian appeared to be toying with the African, pushing him to the verge of stoppage before backing off and urging his corner to throw in the towel. Maybe if he'd have just carried on, it would have come to a natural conclusion in the end. It seems as though Loma didn't want to knock Commey out, as it was revealed after the fight that Loma said he respects him and that he's a good man. Commey was visibly upset after the fight and had to be consoled by his trainer. His trainer could be heard telling him that he was proud of him and that although they were a little behind on the night, Lomachenko was on tonight. I mean, going the distance with Lomachenko should be worthy of some sort of medal, as the Ukrainian is such an epic fighter. It seemed as though Loma could have finished the fight whenever he wanted, but ultimately didn't want to embarrass Commey, which is a nice touch. What did you make of Lomachenko's performance against Commey? So what's up with the Kambosos fight? Recently, George Kambosos Jr. shocked the world after he defeated Teofimo Lopez, who was the last person to beat Loma, and the fight between the Ukrainian and the Aussie would set up a great fight triangle between the three and is surely the next one to be made. Loma, who is a 3-weight world champion, hopes to tackle the Aussie in his next outing and would complete a perfect circle for the Ukrainian if he could reclaim his belt against the man who beat him. There's sort of a perfect symmetry to the situation, and there's surely no other fight to make. Kambosos had gotten in the way in the eyes of Loma, who had hoped to secure an instant rematch against Lopez after losing to him last year, but instead, Lopez was ordered to fight the mandatory challenger, which was Kambosos, and in a shock loss, came unstuck against the Aussie. Lomachenko is now targeting a fight against Kambosos, and the world's former pound-for-pound #1 said he will go anywhere he needs to go to fight him. This is surely the next fight to make at the top of the division, so how do you see this one playing out? After Lomachenko's last performance, we would make him an early favorite. What about you guys? Let us know what you think of this matchup down below in the comment section. We're hearing from Kambosos Jr. himself next. Don't go anywhere. After defeating Lopez and unifying the lightweight division, Aussie Kambosos sets his sights on his first defense next year, being in his homeland Down Under. He revealed he wants a top-tier challenger, which we don't think he will have any problem getting, as the fight makers aren't going to throw a nobody into challenge for his belts. So come on now, George. He revealed details of his plans to have his first title defense on the east coast of Australia, and although nothing has been announced yet, we're not sure boxing shot callers are going to allow world title fight to be held down under, not for his first defense anyway. Kambosos said there will be no tune-up fight. It will be in Australia, and it will be a stadium fight in Sydney or Melbourne. He went on to say that the fight will either be at Marvel or Accor Stadium, with capacity 80,000 in attendance. It seems Kambosos Jr. already has his heart set on the first defense being on home soil, so maybe he knows more than we do at this point. What do you guys think? The champ went on to reveal how excited this time is for him and told fans he has been waiting for years to get to this point. He said now that he's in the driving seat, he's going to be the one to call the shots, which we guess is fair enough, right? Who else could the Aussie potentially fight then? So as we know, the fight that makes the most sense right now is the Lomachenko bout, and this seems most likely to be given the green light. However, as we know, things don't always play out as expected, so if for whatever reason the Lomachenko fight doesn't happen, there are a couple of other potential matchups for the Aussie to consider. First up is a potential fight against the undefeated American, Devin Haney, who is on a 27-fight win streak. Last time out, Haney beat Joseph Diaz in a 12-round unanimous decision. Incidentally, his last 4 fights have gone the way of unanimous decision. Another option for the unbeaten Aussie is Gervonta Davis, also undefeated and sporting a 26-0 record. Davis is a dangerous fighter who has finished 24 of his last 26 by KO or TKO, and we gotta say that's pretty scary. There's also the potential for a complete surprise to be sprung, but we think one of these 3 guys have the best shot at getting the next crack at the belts. Who do you think would be the best matchup for George? Let us know what you think link down below. More boxing news now with talk of Jake Paul's wish list for his next bout. After dismantling former UFC welterweight champ by a vicious knockout on Saturday night, Jake Paul has revealed his bucket list for his next boxing bout. In an absolutely ridiculous tweet, the YouTuber turned boxer said at the top of his list is none other than current world champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, we're no professional boxers, but Canelo is one of the best to ever do it of all time and would surely dismantle Paul in the early rounds. The ex-Disney star didn't stop there, claiming that his list also consists of unbeaten star Floyd Money Mayweather, former best man on the planet, Mike Tyson, and current undefeated world heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. All of these men would surely embarrass Paul, but then again, we thought Woodley would handle him easily enough, so what do we know? The last name on the list was none other than UFC head honcho Dana White. White is a former boxer himself, but never boxed at a high level and is also 52 years old. So this one is probably the least likely to happen. Paul was speaking on his brother's podcast recently and said, "I make more than every UFC fighter combined, including Conor. Y'all work for Dana, y'all work for WME, Endeavor, that's who you work for." He went on to claim that he makes more money than any of them and then asked why he would join the UFC. I mean, he'd be taken down and obviously ground and pounded into oblivion, so kind of a silly thing to say. Who do you see him fighting next though? Tommy Fury has weighed in on Jake Paul's latest outing. Let's see what he had to say. Fury, brother of world heavyweight champ Tyson, claims he would have stopped Jake Paul inside the first round on Saturday night. In a case of what might have been, it seems the ship might have now sailed for the unbeaten Brit, as it looks like Paul has his sights set on far bigger names in the boxing world. Unfortunately for Tommy, Fury had to withdraw from Saturday's card, citing a broken rib and chest infection. But watching from afar, he didn't seem impressed with Paul's work. He said, "If that was me in the ring on Saturday night, it wouldn't have got out of the opening bell. Let's have it right. Watch that first round and then watch the first round of me, my first fight coming out of Love Island. Is he any better than that guy? No, he's not." Jesus, come on, Tommy, don't talk about Love Island and professional boxing in the same sentence and expect to be taken seriously. Fury went on to compare the guy he fought to Paul by saying his opponent was 30 fights deep in his pro career and was even a world kickboxing champ. He claims he would have been peppering Paul with his jabs because Paul doesn't move his head. Maybe he's right. He still hasn't faced a professional boxer, and standing in front of someone like Canelo without moving your head and improving your footwork might end with an evening in the hospital. Fury hopes to fight Paul in 2022, but Paul might now be on a different trajectory. Do you guys think Tommy should get another crack at Paul? Let us know down below. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more revelations. Also, why not do us a favor and share this video with any fight fans you might know on your socials. Take